everyone, welcome. Dave here wanted to say hello and get some lovin's. This is my little kitty. He's a COVID kitty, so he thinks he's a human baby, not a real kitty, because we've been home the whole time and he's not used to people leaving him. He just thinks he should be held or carried around like an infant. But we're going to do this super cute dinosaur for our first drawing today. We're going to want our paper turned wider than it is tall, so landscape style. And we're going to start with that dinosaur's muzzle or mouth area. Draw an oval with two little circles on the inside. Make it a little darker so you guys can see it better. If it's a little wonky and not perfectly oval, that's okay. But do the best you can. That's why we start in pencil, so we can fix it if we need to. Next, we're going to add his eyes right on top of that. They're window-shaped eyes, I call these, or arches. They look like those big horseshoe-shaped windows that you find in old historic churches or historical buildings in towns. Inside of that, we're going to do a curved line to the side to separate the pupil from the white of the eye. And then add a circle shape in the corner for the highlight. So we'll color in all of that bigger part of the oval shape there. You can wait and do that when we outline later. I also like to add eyebrows to my critters because it gives them so much expression. All right. Next, we're going to start to form his head. So from the side where it's closest to the edge of your paper, it's the left side of his head, we're going to start just away from the eyeball, maybe about 1 pencil width or so, and curve upwards, creating almost like a circle shape, or the beginning of a circle shape for his head. It's not quite a rainbow, but more just a curved line going over there. And then on the back side, right across from his other eyeball here, we're going to do a little sideways letter U. We're going to come down, kind of curve in just a little bit to create that neck area, and then curve back out. Now, how long this line is doesn't really matter. Just whatever opening you have here at the top of our dinosaur, that's where his hat's going to go. So I just kept going until I felt like it was long enough that the opening here is perfect for my little Santa hat. And then this curve back here will become the back of the dinosaur. All right, next we're going to add that hat. Start with the brim area, which is like a hot dog shape, curved all the way across that opening. And then we're going to do a tall hill shape and just a little curl underneath there. It isn't important how it's curved, just that it has just a little curve or point, because an elf or Santa hat gets narrow as it gets further to the end. And then bring that line backwards, connecting it to the other side of the brim of the hat. Add whatever kind of pom-pom you want on the end. I usually use a cloud-like one by doing tiny little rainbows that connect to each other to create that poof at the end of the hat. Then we're going to do an upside down rainbow or a smiley face here for his belly area. So start either underneath that right side of the eye, because his head is kind of tilted, or in between them. Don't start so far over that you're way over here, because then he'll have a really wide neck and it will look awkward. Make sure you're starting in the middle or towards the right side. Do a big curve going past the original line for his back and creating his whole body almost. We're still going to add some little legs under here, and then his tail. We're going to continue this bump on his back, kind of making a hill shape, and then coming down and curving back up. So we have like an upright rainbow and then a smiley face that's a little bit less wide. So it's more narrow here than here. Maybe about twice as wide for this big bump on his back and half as wide for the little one. Then we're going to turn these two lines together into the tail. You can just do a wavy line, or you can keep it more straight. On top, add a little curve, and then just follow the line that you drew, but coming back and connecting to the beginning here. And you can see my tail here, way too chunky in the middle. So I've got to erase that little bump there and bring that back down, following this other line so it's more thin, like a typical tail. You could also do it super straight. It doesn't have to be so wiggly. I like to add some spots onto my dinosaur too, to make him have a little more interest, especially when you start coloring. It's fun to have some contrast color on there. I did a few back here by where his tail and body connect. And I changed up what sizes they are. You could do them all the same size, or maybe you want to have like a rock star dinosaur. So you want to put stars on his body. You could totally do that too. Or a loving dinosaur. So you want to put hearts on him. Or a winter dinosaur, you could put snowflakes on it. Whatever you want to do to decorate your dino, you can do. And I added a few up here on the temple of his head underneath the hat there. Next, we're going to add his little legs. They're just two lines right next to each other, about one pencil or finger width apart, with a little bump out for the foot. And his front legs are separated because he's kind of walking here, but his back legs are closer together. We're only seeing the one of them behind as like a shadow. So after we draw our first back leg, just mirror that shape by drawing a little bit of a shorter version right in front of it. So the line down is a little shorter, then we go over and down again, but we end about halfway down our first foot, giving it that appearance of another one in the background there. So underneath his tail, somewhere in this area, we're going to draw a circle shape for our ornament. But above where we want our circle to be, we're going to add that little hanger. So wherever you're going to place this, mine right here, do a line across and a little line down, creating a little rectangle without the bottom done. And then we're going to add rainbow shapes underneath, creating a scallop. I only do a half of a rainbow on the edges and then a full rainbow underneath on the rest. We'll add a hanger on top of there by adding like a circle-ish shape twice. So our ribbon or string will go through this circle in the center. Then we'll do a slight curve down to each side before we do our full circle shape. You could also do an oval shape or an oblong shape. Ornaments come in so many different shapes and sizes now that you could do anything. I added some design into mine, but I kept it super simple. You could do something more detailed if you wanted to. I did two straight lines kind of evenly placed, and then I did a wavy line above that and below those, as well as in the middle of. So once I colored them, it created that fun look. Now to add this to our dinosaur's tail, we want to create that string coming from this hole or holder that we made. I'm just going to kind of add a little line there and add my line up onto the tail. Imagine it's wrapped a few times. So we're going to have that string wrapping around at least 2 or 3 times, connecting to the tail. So just add a few lines right next to each other to show that that string is wrapped around, giving him the full effect of that ornament hanging back there. You could also add some details into the background if you wanted to. Maybe you want to have him walking on snow. So you could add just a little wavy line underneath this, show that it's snow. You could add maybe like part of a snowman back here. His head or his middle, there's his body. And give it a whole scene. Put a hat on him, make the top of his head flat for a second. But whatever details you want to add, add them. Maybe your dino's at the beach for Christmas, or maybe he's surfing on the ocean or in a park. Wherever you can imagine, draw him in the background. I like to outline all of my coloring pages once they're done, just because it makes them feel very finished and look almost like a professional coloring page. You can just draw with your Sharpies or black marker of any kind right over your pencil lines, and it will go from this pencil to this bold coloring page in no time. Plus, when you do that, it actually helps your muscle memory and will make you a better artist in the long run. I can't wait to see how your dino turns out. Don't forget to post your finished project either in our student forum on Facebook, Studio CIA Student Projects, or on our website in our community forum, linked below. Be sure to come back for another drawing soon. Bye, everyone.